Hello, I'm Neeraj. Today we will discuss about graph of thoughts. Before going into the details, I will suggest you to go through the previous tutorials on chain of thoughts and tree of thoughts. Then it will be easy to understand and compare what is the graph of thoughts. So in chain of thoughts, I already discussed like it here the thoughts we divide the entire problems into multiple thoughts and identify the relations between them. So one thought will execute, it will generate some output relations with output, it will generate some relations with, and then it will affect the output of thought tree, and then we will finally get the solution or output. In a tree of thoughts, so a tree will be developed by adding thought T1, T2, T3. It will further grow like T11, T21, T31, like that. It will grow like that. But what you will miss here in the tree of thoughts, like you have to always follow some path in the thought development. But if you want to use T11 or reuse some T11 at this place, it is not possible and in the tree of thoughts. So this is first thing. So reuse of earlier thoughts not possible, and then you cannot merge multiple paths because will have separate branches. You cannot say that okay, we can say that okay T1 and T2 together will generate T3, sorry, together will generate T3 and like that, and again it will uh, separate and it will generate T1 like this. So such kind of merging is not possible in tree of thoughts. Another thing is like parallel reasoning. So you cannot say that T1 tends to T11 tends to T2 and then one more parallel reasoning T2 tends to T11 and then tends to T31 like that. Such kind of parallel reasonings are not possible in tree of thoughts because you always have a branch and with some connections. Another thing is like iterative refinements are also not possible in such kind of complex ways. So that's why when the problems are not easily breakable in some like a tree format or sequential format, then graph of thoughts plays very important role in solving such problems. So let us start and try to understand how we can work with graph of thoughts. So we start with problem and then graph of thought settings. So suppose we have our T1, T2, T3, T4, some branches T1, or like that. Now define the thought node and types of relations and the operators. So now suppose initially we have relations like this. T1 is related to T2, T3 and T4. After that, so here the thought nodes are the unit of reasoning such as summarizations, plan, hypothesis or evidence. So here thoughts means how the things are connected. So one evidence is connected to another evidence. Thought T1 is connected to T3, T1 is connected to T4. So such evidences are established at initial stage. Now apply some reasoning loop. So based on the budget. So based on the how much budget you have, so just enter into the reasoning loop. Now in the reasoning loop, we have to select the next operations. To solve this problem, what further we can do. Maybe further enhancement like we can add T31 and T31 will join with T4 and then maybe it can generate some relations like T41. So this is the path it is developing. And another path suppose it is developing like T22. So this type of paths are developing with the help means how the problems are going. So we are connecting the threads to solve the problems. And then we gather the inputs through the relevant nodes and we just run the language model to expand and refine the merge and check the thoughts. Now at this stage we will check the growth of the thoughts like whether this growth like from here to here and here to here whether it satisfies all the conditions to solve the given problem or not. After that we will update the graph or modify the nodes and keep the history. Suppose some means situations are not satisfying things or it requires some updates like okay these thoughts are also satisfying people so we can add like this or this is not satisfying well so we can remove this so we can make those kind of changes at this stage and after that we evaluate the thoughts with scoring rules. So from here we started. This is our starting point. From here, this is the answer A1 and this is answer A2. So we will just evaluate the thought and score the rule and constants like whether the score or outcome generated for the each of those thoughts, which of those are giving the highest score. So suppose A1 is giving higher score, then we will follow this. Now, if our goal node like this path, like this path that we have identified is satisfying our goal and having good score, then and then we will check that whether it produced the final answer or artifact, whether this A1 is able to produce the final answer or artifact. Yes, then this will be our solution. But if goal node is not satisfying score, so how you can check that the goal node is not satisfying any score? So so that there may be a lot of ways to check. So first is like LLM as a judge. Second is like surrounding evidences. So surrounding evidences should have collectively keep some scores. Third way is adversarial checkings and through all such kind of strategies. If it is giving good score, only then we consider it as a good solution. And if this score is better than this, then we will consider this part. And if it is not satisfying, then we will check that what is our budget. So why we are saying the budget? Because every time when we add this node, we will use the LLM calls to identify the connections between T1 and T3, connections between T3 and T31, T31 to T341. So all these connections require LLM calls. So if you have a budget to solve this problem, then okay. And if it is not, then we can consider this as an optimal solution. And if we have a budget, with these solutions I am not satisfied, then what we will do? We will identify the further refinement and schedule the next operations. So we will identify that due to which nodes, either this node, this node, this node. which is creating issues. And we will go to here, and then we will repeat this process. So this is the graph of cows.